Hello again and welcome back to Il-2 Sturmovik, the Battle of Stalingrad, and this is just the initial campaign, the first part of the first campaign, and it's more of a tutorial than anything is turning out, which is just as well. I wanted to learn the aircraft before really getting into something very complicated. Now we're on training mission number 3. It's an intercept. We've already seen the briefing for this in the last video. It's just taking off, coming out to the action point and intercepting something, I think a bomber, and then flying back. Now, since I briefed the last one, I did take a little bit of time since I'm in the Lag 3 to map some of the additional controls and to figure some more stuff out on it. It turns out that the Lag 3 does not have a lockable tail wheel. That took me way too long to figure out. I thought I was doing something wrong in the control settings. And also, if you play around with the brakes too long, you will run out of compressed air. Again, it took me way longer than it should have to figure that out, but we'll get to some more of this stuff. So I've got the rudder, water radiator, oil radiator, prop pitch control, mixture all mapped. So even though the cockpit isn't clickable, I still have access to a lot of stuff that we'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Let me click start and we'll get into the air. Okay, so here we go, prepare for takeoff. And okay, take off and proceed to the waypoint, the tooltip tells us. Alright, now let's see here. I'm facing, I'm facing due west. Get my map back up. Now I was messing around also with a lot of the stuff in the interface. Okay, so I'm going to need to turn, okay, just due west. So I just take off and fly the runway heading. And that's 11 kilometers for 1.25 minutes. One thing I didn't figure out is how fast am I supposed to be flying that at? That, surely it tells me at some point. Okay, 11 kilometers, 1.5 minutes. That's useless if I don't know what speed I'm supposed to fly at. Otherwise, I don't know. Let me pause here, do some math real quick. I'll come right back. Okay, and back with you. My E6V tells me that for 11 kilometers, 1 minute and 25 seconds, I need to fly that at an airspeed of 466 kilometers per hour. That'd be a ground speed to hit the timing on that correctly. So, okay, so figuring that out, I mean, that's great that they have this on the map. That's something that I wish DCS would do, unless the mission designer puts it into like a kneeboard or like a planning map in DCS. This is kind of the stuff that I would love to see added. Okay, so let me get rid of the map now, and we'll just go ahead and take off, fly for 1 minute and 25 seconds out to the Volga, and turn left. Okay, now let me see if I can figure out how to take off in this thing. Now, like I said, I did some mapping of controls, so even though it's not interactable, we have prop pitch control, throttle, mixture. Okay, and I think what's happening here is that since I'm flying under those like normal difficulty settings, I'm not an expert mode right now, that my prop pitch, my mixture, and apparently my radiators are all done automatically, which I don't mind at all. I didn't really want to make this into like a let's learn the Lag 3. I want to get to the Sturmovik. Okay, so enough talking. Let me go ahead and get this thing into the air. So, okay, runway's clear ahead of me. Let me go ahead and push the engine up. Okay, a little bit of left rudder, a lot of the left rudder to keep her tracking down the center line, more or less. Okay, a little more rudder to the left. A little overcompensation on my part on the rudder, kind of moving around a little bit more than I should. Okay, let's get her off the ground. Okay, airborne, kind of stable now. Let's go gear up. And I don't believe I have my flaps down at all, which they're optional in the Lag. Okay, so there we go. A minute or so straight in front of me. Let me go ahead and trim out for a climb. Okay, radio calls. That's me calling into the tower that I'm airborne, and they're saying, okay, proceed with the mission. Now let's look around and see what we can see here. I don't have any kind of a wingman, and I'm going to turn my volume down a little bit so that I don't have to yell. Okay, now, intercepting something out here in the distance. Bomber, I would assume. Okay, so I've got the river coming up right now below me. I'm going to just put her into a good, pretty good climb here. Okay, nothing yet. I'm not sure what altitude to expect anything at, or for that matter, what kind of indication I'm going to get visually once something comes into view here. Okay, at the waypoint, now I just need to turn and follow the river on up to the south. Checking my map real quick. Yes, indeed. 200, 13 kilometers, a minute 40 seconds. So I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just following the river at this point. Having a look. Okay, one other thing I'll do right now is I'm going to start recording. I'm just going to, as an experiment, see if I can work external views into this. Once I edit everything together, and to do that I have to record. That's kind of annoying, actually, having that little record thing up there to the top right. I'll see if I can get rid of that in subsequent videos once I learn the interface a little bit better. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start making some S-turns and looking around for something that looks like it's waiting to get shot down by me. And I also played around with the zoom controls, and now I have it set up just like I do in the DCS world, where I just have a little slider on my throttle set up so I can zoom in and out. And what I like to do, and what I always did in the old original Illusion 2, was just have really 3 basic zoom settings. One kind of like this for just flying around and navigating. Another one about halfway in just for, I don't know, just a tactical environment so that I can look around and identify stuff in the air and on the ground, but still have a frame of reference for instruments and just where I am, orientation-wise. And just another one zoomed all the way in just for long-range gunnery, essentially, so. Okay, should be approaching the action point any second now, just got a little bit further to go. Okay, proceed with mission, winds from the south. Attacking enemy planes to the southwest, range 7 kilometers, so southwest, that's exactly in front of me right now. Okay, attack plane, 12 o'clock, 7 kilometers, engaged, got it. Okay, what altitude? That would have been helpful right then. Okay, still looking around. I think by default this has labels enabled. I did disable it. I might regret that if I just fly right by whatever it is I'm supposed to be shooting hell on this mission. I'm going to give it a shot without any kind of a visual assist. And I remember it was very easy to spot stuff in the original Illusion 2. And granted, this is a completely different simulation engine and just a completely different development team, whole 9 yards on this. Okay, seeing nothing. Let me just kind of back out a little bit and just take in the overall situation here, just to make sure I don't get myself lost. So it's still more or less following the Volga out. Okay, so it was 7 kilometers out. I'm afraid that I might have actually passed it if we were going at each other, which would be unfortunate. Okay, I'll if that did happen, I'm not going to put you through the torture of just watching me fly in circles. I'll come back once I acquire this thing or restart the mission or whatever I need to do. Although, wow, look at that effect. That's burning stuff down there. I'm actually approaching Stalingrad right now from the south up the Volga. Boy, very cool. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, still continuing the mission. I'm sure that I've missed whatever it is I was supposed to intercept by now, but I don't really care at this point. I'm just flying around having fun and watching the smoke effects coming off of the town or city down below. So definitely got some stuff burning out there. And it's possible that whatever I was supposed to be intercepting is directly responsible for that. Okay, more stuff out there as I get over the city proper. Yeah, and visually, I just can't say enough about the feeling. I think that, I mean, granted, we've been flying in DCS over the same terrain for so long that it's easy to kind of have something different jump out at you and to say that it's, you know, better or worse, and that's not what I'm really here to do, is to say what I like better or which is better or not. But yeah, I think this is overall just the smoke effects and the feeling of being over a town like this or a city that's under attack is, yeah, very, very immersive so far. Okay, so I'll be back once I find myself something to shoot at. Okay, so I'm still hanging out over Stalingrad, and that's definitely a mission failure. I got a radio call in just a minute ago saying that either the objective was complete or whatever, but I don't mind. I just like flying around for now. So coming down here a little bit lower over the city itself, and this would be a dangerous time. Well, especially with artillery fire, whatever that is coming in around me. This would be a dangerous time in general for any Soviet aircraft to be much less directly over the town taking artillery fire, but just to be in the air in daylight whatsoever. The Soviets were pushed back, obviously, and the Soviet Air Force at the time was outnumbered, and that would change a little bit later on once we get further into the campaign. We do get numerical superiority here on the Soviet side that I'm flying at some point, not necessarily, and you know, I'm just essentially quoting here, not to cast judgment on the quality of the Soviet aircraft, but definitely advantage in quantity, not so much in quality. I think that's pretty much established. But it's interesting to fly around here and just see the way that everything is depicted. I mean, everything is bombed out, and just the initial race, like you saw in that initial cinematic video that we had, it just doesn't even start to describe the destruction that was brought down on Stalingrad. And you can see how it is right here. It was just Heinkel 111 after Heinkel 111, and you know, you name it, just throwing bomb after bomb. The number that I saw last night as I was reading about it, there were as many bombs dropped on Stalingrad during like the initial phase that we're in right now than were dropped on London during the Blitz in during the Battle of Britain time frame. So yeah, you can just look back there, and this, yeah, the destruction that was brought down on this place is just amazing to comprehend. So let me go ahead and get out of this mission. No, I'll take that back. I'll go ahead and land this mission and go back up again in the same one, and just kind of cut towards the actual intercept and get to shoot something down. So I'll be right back. Okay, so easier said than done. Let me get my map out real quick and see where I'm at. Okay, so if I just follow the Volga up to the north, I'm going to see two airfields out to my right, one of which is the exit point and the other of which is my base. So I should have two towns coming up just below me. Okay, I've got one off my nose, another one just out there in the distance. Should have an airfield off to the right of the first town. Up there, I would have thought. Possibly yet, that little dark smudge right there. I don't think I'll be able to positively identify it until I get a little bit closer, but I'm heading in the right direction anyway. Okay, so now that I've found myself, yeah, let me go ahead and cut ahead to the landing. I'll be right back. Okay, strike that. Tally aircraft at my 1:30, 2 o'clock level. That would be my target, I would assume. Looks like a Heinkel 111 out here at long range. It's kind of hard to tell. Okay, let me stow the map. Let me test fire my guns real quick just to make sure they're going to work. Okay, yeah, they're good. Okay, so let me get some altitude on this guy. I'll make a couple of kind of slashing attacks. Try to make it not from directly behind, so I can stay out of the... don't give them a good tracking shot with the guns. Okay, this will work right here. So let me just kind of pull a little bit of lead on him. Make sure that I'm going to... Okay, Junkers, 87. Okay, little... okay, little tardy on my shot, my setup there. Let me just come back around on him right now. High deflection shot. Not very effective, but... got a good hit on him on that one. Okay, now let me go ahead and set up and kind of get behind him, see if I can get a good tracking shot on him and take him out. So I'm just going to go high, come back around on him, and see what we can make happen here. So I'm going to pull lead on him a little bit, and I just have to compensate for range using the sight and try to put in some rudder. Wow, okay, I couldn't get enough rudder authority to make that work. That wasn't a bad pass, I just didn't have enough rudder input just then. Okay, let me try that again just from the other side. And it doesn't look like he's shooting back, thankfully. That would have been a little bit hairy, that particular pass. Yeah, this is a good perch location, something that I would use if I were trying to stay out of that rear gunner's sights. I'll make this one work as well. Okay, coming in, overtaking him pretty well. Okay, he's turned away. I'll just make this a pure, just a tracking shot from behind. Very dangerous, but... Oh, come on, Rudder. Are you kidding me? I wonder if that's something with the, like the normal settings, because I know when I was flying it around earlier, like under the expert settings, that I had a lot more rudder authority, and I know that I could have made that work. That's frustrating. And then come back around and try this one more time, and I'll just pull a little bit more effective, a little bit more lead on him this time, I guess. Yeah, just testing the rudder. Yeah, I know I had a lot more rudder authority before. Maybe it's just my imagination, though. Okay, so coming in, directly behind him one more time. And again, yeah, not recommended in a attack on the Junkers 87s, but I'll take it. Just open up from long range. See what I can knock off this guy here. And I am out of ammo. Go figure. Okay, but I think that's good enough. That's all that I think I was supposed to do during this mission, was just go in there, and I don't think necessarily I had to shoot him down. Okay, so let me come back around, make sure that I'm going north along the Volga and head back to base. So that's the idea, at least. So yeah, I'll come back once I'm set up on the approach, and let me research some numbers here, actually. Scratch that. Yeah, let me pull this up right now. Yeah, I did shoot somebody down. That's very, very merciful of them to count that as a kill, one way or another. It looks like he ditched. Or just landed very, very softly. However you want to count that. Okay, now, let's see here. Now, just looking at this little quick reference sheet that I have. Okay, for landing, radiators closed, RPM 2600. I don't really have any control over either of those in this mode. Gear down at 350, flaps 250, downwind 220, approach 200. So, okay, let me just find the field, and I'll just fly the approach at 200 and set her down, which is always easier said than done. Okay, so I've got this road coming up. Now we pull up the map and see. You know, obviously the map, I think, is always going to be kind of focused on where you're at. I would rather it not just be centered and follow me around like this, but I can tell that I'm right there in the middle of the map. I just need to follow this road up to the... Okay, let me flip a 180 here and get back to base. I'll be back once I'm set up.